questions, any concerns? Anything we need to add or subtract? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Reports, financial report, and it should be on the board. Should be. Is it on the board? Now it's on the board. All right, Mark, you want to go over that for us? Exhibit A in your packet.
Sure can, Mr. Mayor, thank you. So we'll go over the financial report. So our general fund revenues, you can see some of our property taxes are starting to trickle in. I expect for the month of December, at our next meeting, you'll see that number raise significantly. For revenues, 2.208 million, and on our expenditures, 2.731. So you can see that we do have more expenditures than revenues, but that's typical for this time of year, as our property taxes come in over the next 60 to 90 days. But you can also see our cash on hand at the end of the period, $3.69 million. Our State Street Aid Fund, you can see we've got $150,000 in revenue and $86,000 in expenditures. So we've also got $296,000 of cash on hand at the end of the period. Our drug fund, we've received $10,923 in revenue, and we did not spend any money out of that yet this year. There's $100,985 on hand. Solid waste collections, $288,000 in revenue, $231,000 in expenditures. So we've got $57,000 positive revenues. So cash on hand, $186,385. We included a new section. Ms. Debbie included a new section for the board's review, just as a way to track our ARPA spending. You can see that our ARPA allocation, $2.8 million, and then we've got some expenditures. So I've asked all of the department directors to give the board a report on where they stand currently on their ARPA spending plan that the board had approved, just to give the board an update and give our new board an update once they are seated. So you can see that we've only spent $33,857 thus far. For our water fund, we've got $617,000 of revenue, and this is an ongoing cumulative number, and $591,000 in expenses. So positive cash flow of $25,818. Our sewer fund, $656,000 in positive revenues, and our expenses are $752,000. Our expenses did trickle up just a little bit, so we went up with just a tad on our deficit at $95,000. Again, that's a cumulative number. I'm not sure if the next, the document there. So we've been providing a tracking basis for the board's purposes, so you can see exactly what's going on. We started this at the end of the first fiscal month, or the first month of the fiscal year. So the upper side is water, the lower side is sewer. And you can see that our deficit for the sewer fund increased $6,520, lower right-hand corner. Also have a couple of lines on there so you can see our month-to-month revenue and our month-to-month expenditures. It's just an informational piece so that the board can have a little bit better track on how both of those funds are working along. Happy to answer any questions for you if you have.
Mark, didn't you say that as far as the Mumford's been charging us like $30,000 or something, and those
Yes,
are gonna fall off?
Yes, sir. So that first adjustment in payment will be the month of December, so this month. So that will be reflected next month. So that's about $21,000 reduction. So over the course of the rest of the fiscal year, the expenses in the sewer fund are going to go down a total of about $140,000 just in operation and maintenance of what we're sending to the city of Munford for treatment.
Okay.
Mark, next month, looking at the other operating expenses, it started off $31,653. It's progressively gotten higher to the current $178,672. I'd like to request if maybe we can get a better detail on that, some breakdown.
Absolutely. We can provide you with every disbursement out of those line items. We can give you as much or as little detail as you would like.
Again, I'm not looking for dollar charges, you know what I mean, but just to kind of get, since it is such a large amount, it's something that I'd like to look at.
Sure. If I could draw your attention to that same line for the month ending July 31 and then August 31. You can see we had a really big increase in expenses there from 31,000 to 135. I know we talked about it at the time that there were lots of materials and parts that had come in that were ordered in the previous fiscal year, and most of those came in the month of August. So you can see from the month of August forward, that particular line item has only gone up $43,000 over the course of the 4 months. So we had that really big jump in August, but the rest of the year, you know, it's still
I
increasing.
guess I was hoping it was gonna jump, and then it was gonna kind of go back to the 31. You know,
Oh, wow.
so,
Gotcha. But yes, we can do that.
When did the tar machine come in? I suppose that's what you call it.
What was that? I'm
The
sorry.
tar. The machine.
Crack
that was-
sealer.
The
The
crack
crack
sealer?
sealer, yeah.
When did that come in? Out of the streets.
Should come out of the streets, yeah. Okay. All right. What'd you say when it come in?
I think it was August.
August.
All right. Any other questions, concerns? All right.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve the financial report. Do we have a
Second.
second? We do have a second. Any more questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, Mark, go over the sales tax report.
Yes, sir. So you've got a general sales tax revenue report in front of you. Local sales tax did go down slightly, 6.24%. And our fire tax revenue, you can see, also went down 6.18%. We're expecting I think we're expecting a pretty strong showing here with the holiday season. Typically, those months, as you can see historically, start improving the sales, especially in January, February. Keep in mind that these sales tax numbers are generally reporting 2 months behind.
All right, that's just a matter of information.
Yes, sir.
All right. Also, as you know, no committee, Public Works or Public Safety or Finance Administration met between November and December, so I don't think we had anything to talk about at that time. Moving on to old business now. Exhibit C in your packet. We just had the public hearing. And an ordinance to rezone request for Maple Drive for rezoning going from R1 to neighborhood commercial. And Mr. Administrator, give us a little background. Do you have some?
I'll make some up.
Please do.
So, yeah, just a little bit of a recap for those in attendance. So you held the first consideration back in November for the change of the parcel. This parcel and the consideration also went before the town's planning commission. Planning commission reviewed the staff report, which is included in your packet, to make a recommendation that there was a positive recommendation from the planning commission to go ahead and change the zoning. So the board heard that back in November. We've just held our public hearing prior to this meeting. And so the second and final consideration is there for the board to decide.
And that was put off for how long?
It's been quite some time.
Started back in March, wasn't it? April?
It may even have been before that. I know that the applicant had come before the planning commission previously, and there were some questions, so they went back and resolved all of those issues, and then came back to the planning commission and is now moved to this stage.
All right, this is the final consideration of the ordinance. Is there any objection to reading the ordinance by title only? Hearing none, Ms. Recorder please read the ordinance by title?
An ordinance to amend the town of Atoka's municipal zoning map by rezoning Karen State's property located at 673 Maple Drive from R1, single-family residential, to NC, neighborhood commercial.
motion to approve?
Second.
We have a motion to approve the final passage, and we have a second.
Who's the second?
Mr. Alderman Pace. Discussion. Any discussion on it? Hearing none. Roll call. Alderman Pace.
Yes.
Alderwoman Renfro.
Yes.
Alderman Aiken.
Yes.
Alderman Giannini.
Yes.
Alderman Philmere.
Yes.
Alderman Harville.
Yes.
Moving on. Ordinance final consideration of title 11, municipal offense, Chapter 10, Exhibit D in your packet, and I believe the board has asked our attorney, Ms. Amber Shaw, Attorney Shaw, would you go over some information that you've obtained that met the requirement from the board asking?
I can, Mayor. As the board may recall at the November meeting, Alderman Giannini had some questions about the civil unrest portion, specifically I believe it was
Section
11-1005. Whether the list could be modified. I went and looked it up under the Tennessee Code Annotated, which was the resource. It's chapter 38, section 9, 101 through 106. And as it stands at the state law level, the mayor already has all of these powers. So to answer Alderman Giannini's question about whether we can modify the list, we cannot, because it's already written by the legislature into state law. So really, to then incorporate it into our ordinances, we can, but it's not necessary, because everything that we're adopting into our ordinances has already been adopted and is in effect at the state law level. And so the simplest recommendation, in my opinion, is to withdraw section 11-1002 through 11-1010. Leave section 11-1100 because that is a standalone provision as to curfew for minors. But it's just duplicative, and it's one more thing that we have to keep up with, because if it does change at the state law level, then we'd have to go back in and reincorporate it and update it as things went along. And so after I did the research on his specific question about section 5, I went and looked, and I have sent the chapters through 1 through 6 to our administrator and Chief Rudolph as well, just so they have those. I can send them to all of you as well, but it's exactly what's incorporated here.
Thank you.
You're
So
welcome.
it's already in the state law.
It's already in the state law that the mayor has all of those powers.
Amber, tell me again, which ones would you recommend we drop
11-1
through,
10.
oh, really?
And we're keeping the
11-11.
11-11. All right, so give me the motion, Ms. Attorney.
If, I got a question. If we, which I'm looking for 10 somewhere. I see the penalties. I know some of the things we've gone over is with the state law, if I'm right, Chief, it's the state law, we can write ticket or whatever penalty, and the state gets the money. If we have it on our books, we get the money.
If I see misdemeanors, yes, sir.
So with this, us taking that out, would that affect that?
No,
No,
absolutely.
okay.
And it wouldn't, because the state legislature specifically says the mayor of each municipality has these powers, so it confers jurisdiction on the municipality to prosecute.
Okay.
All right, any other questions, discussion? All right, an ordinance, let's see, tell me how we're gonna do the
I got you.
ordinance. All right, I'll let Danny and Phil Meyer hit me.
He's got the power of the suit.
An ordinance to amend or for final consideration for municipal offenses in chapter 10, and we'll get the way to do that in just a minute. Mr. Administrator, give us some background.
He didn't have
I can provide as much background on a specific item. What was it, Mayor?
Curfew,
Yeah, so our current code is in conflict with the state requirements. Our current code is less restrictive than what the state requires, and this section of the ordinance, and the town attorney can keep us straight, but I believe this section of the ordinance incorporates the proper time periods for the curfew so that we're not in conflict. We can always be more restrictive than state requirements, but we cannot be less restrictive, so this would put us in line.
I believe we're 5 o'clock right now. And
I don't have the
state
markup
6,
version.
is that right, Chief?
That's correct, yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so, hearing none, Ms. Recorder, why don't you Any objections, any objections to reading the ordinance by title only? All right, hearing none, is recorded.
An ordinance to amend Title 11, Chapter 10 of the Atoka Municipal Code relative to municipal offenses.
I make a motion to approve the ordinance with removing section 11-1001 through 11-1010.
I'll second that.
All right. There's a motion to approve the ordinance for final passage, and we have a second. Any discussion? Everybody know what we're voting on? It's really simple, keeping the curfew, changing curfew. All right, no more discussion, roll call. Alderwoman Renfro.
Yes.
Alderman Aiken.
Yes.
Alderman Giannini.
Yes.
Alderman Philmere.
Yes.
Alderman Harbor.
Yes.
Alderman Pace.
Yes.
Got that, Ms. Deb?
I do.
Moving on. Ordinance final consideration for amending Title 17, Chapter 1, Section 17-108. This is dealing with residential collection, service user fees. Okay? An ordinance to amend Title 17, Chapter 1, Section 17-108. The town administrator, give us a little background.
Yes, sir. So in part, what I'm about to say is not going to come to any surprise to anybody in this room, but you may have noticed we've had some trash collection issues over the course of time. We've tried repeatedly to address those with our current vendor, and the board has heard the cries of the folks who we've heard those complaints. It's been ongoing, but to let you know that town staff and the board have tried to resolve those issues. We just haven't been successful. And it generally falls on the vendor that they have not been able to provide the service. So we went out to call for bids, and what we've gotten, where we had two responses. One was our current vendor, and the other one is Republic Services. So Republic Services provided the lowest responsible bid to the town. The board has already taken action on awarding the new contract to Republic Services. They will begin their service on July the 3rd. And at the last, January, yes, January the 3rd, yes, sir. And I'll have a little bit more information on kind of the time frame on that later, but specifically about the fees. We proposed some fees at the last meeting. The board considered those on a first reading and passed those on the first reading. So you have those fees in front of you, and we laid out all of the fees for the term of the contract. So all of the fees would be laid out for the first 3 years, and then 2 optional 1-year extensions. That provides a benefit for us. We can plug those fees in advance. We don't have to worry about changing them every single year. Plus, it also lets the citizens know what their charge would be.
Okay? As this is a second consideration of the ordinance, is there any objection to reading the ordinance by title only? All right, Ms. Deb?
An ordinance amending Title 17, Chapter 1, Section 17-108 of the Atoka Municipal Code of Ordinances related to service user fees.
So, on the fees, is it something we have to keep up with and gotta remember to put them in every year to change them?
1 second.
We've been second.
We had
first.
We had first.
Yeah, so I just consulted Ms. Debbie. She believes we can put all the fees in for each calendar year. They will just automatically change for the term of the contract. One thing that I forgot to mention was given the overview is that we're not going to have recycling service any longer, so it's going to be trash only collection.
That's correct. All right.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second? Now, let's hold up a second. Do we have, Mr. Mayor, do we have
No.
something coming from you?
Yes, sir, during discussion, I thought I'd bring it up during discussion.
Yeah, but we don't second. So
We'll
I'd
fix a
like,
note on
yeah,
it. It's discussion time now.
Okay.
discussion.
That's why I was
Motion
kinda-
second, then discussion.
All right. Do we have a second on this?
Yeah,
Second.
All right, discussion now.
So, apparently, to reach out to the rest of the board members, I talked with the town administrator, and I believe the mayor is aware of it. I would like to propose, instead of changing these fees every year, I crunched the numbers, and if we do a fee of $21.25, we can guarantee 3 years without any changes. And that keeps our revenue the same over that 3-year period. Now, what we do in year 4, year 5, we'll have to address at that time. But I just think we're already telling the citizens it's gonna be an increase. Let's say it's gonna be an increase, but it's gonna be locked in. There's not gonna be any changes for the next 3 years. That's my opinion. I would throw that out to y'all.
$13.39 on the extra can.
$13.40, yes, sir. So, and those figures, to keep us at that revenue, the first cart would be $21.25, again, for the first 3 years, and the additional cart would be $13.40. And that makes us revenue neutral over a 3-year time frame. And then we'd address it in year 4 and year 5 at that time. Just a recommendation.
I'm good with that, but you're gonna have to make that into a motion, because you've already got a motion on the floor to do it the way it's on the paper.
Do we
Okay.
need to rescind the first motion?
Yes.
All right, we're going to,
So you want me to amend the motion?
let's just amend it, because the trash is still there, but we're gonna amend how we do the
So,
price.
so I would make an amendment to the motion that the price would be for the residential solid waste first cart, $21.25 for year 1, 2, and 3, January 1st, 23, 24, and 25. The additional cart would be $13.40 for year 1, 2, and 3 also. To be, and then year 4 option would be debated at that time down the road.
Second.
Second.
All right, we have a motion,
Brett?
we have a second.
But, just a point of clarification, Mayor.
All right, I'm listening.
You had a motion from Alderman Giannini with a second, so I don't think that motion was either acted on or rescinded.
Yeah, but we were just gonna amend
He
it.
amended my motion.
Okay, just want to be clear.
Yeah, we talked about that, and then we said we're just gonna amend it. Is that
Are
okay?
we straight, Ms. Amber?
You are.
Is that all
Okay.
right?
Ms. Amber says yes.
Robert rules, or is it Daryl's rules? Whichever.
Yours for a few more minutes.
That's fine for a few more minutes. All right, does everybody understand the motion? All right, everybody understands 21.25 for 3 years.
Yes, sir.
And I guess I would just add, just for point of clarification for those that are here, those that are looking, streaming, there is a price increase. The previous prices were negotiated 5 years ago. So we would love to keep it the same. The bids came in, there's no way we can do that. So, yeah, there is a price increase. Anything you expect to stay the same price 5 years later, doesn't happen too often.
Just remember, it's under the old mayor, too. Don't take us 5 minutes.
Hey, that's awesome. All right, roll call. Any more discussion on that? All right, let's do a roll call here. Alderman Aiken,
Yes.
Alderman Giannini.
Yes.
Alderman Philmere,
Yes.
Alderman Harbour.
Yes.
Alderman Page.
Yes.
Alderwoman Renfro.
Yes.
Okay. All right, y'all got that? Ms. Deb?
Yes, sir.
All right, now, we're going to do an adjournment here in just a minute, but I'd like to say a few words. I don't think I did a good job the last time we got. If you go out to the town, Pioneer Park, the town gave a seat and a $500 Red Dawn cypress. That did not come out of this budget.
Town did not give you
The town did not do that. It was volunteer. People gave it, and so I just want you to understand that when you go by, see that. But one of the things I regret not doing, not being able to lead the board in the town into the project for east-west corridor. I know it will be looked at and tried to be made happen for traffic build-up and all, but we had put into the state 3 or 4 times, and they put it back on us because they said it was not a state road, it was a town road where we were trying to go east and west. So maybe we can talk to our senators and our representatives a lot more and try to get that done. But I do regret that. It's probably the biggest regret that I have, and I'm trying to get that through as quick as I can. As my lovely wife of 50 years that has also been a servant at heart, she and I started this journey. We never dreamed of finishing in a position for Atoka. We bought land, built our home and business here, and want to see and continue seeing good, smart growth in the town of Atoka, and to continue helping in any way that I can in Atoka. Thanks, Atoka, for some of the best and most rewarding years of Jackie and my journey. But it's only begun. To God be the glory. We're going to adjourn to thank you. It's real humble. All right, do I have a motion to, and this is Latin, and I speak Latin real good. Do I have a motion to sing my dia this time?
I'll make the motion.
All right, we have a motion, we have a second.
Just a second.
All right, this means that we're not we'll get the new board signed in by Judge Casey, covered, and then they will re-adjourn and come back and finish the business that's on the meeting tonight at this time. And I'll just give you my point. You got a great mayor. He will continue, and he'll be a good face of the town. You got a great board here that works together, that tries to keep things. They're not going to always agree. Alderman Feldmeyer don't agree with nothing. But I can tell you right now, they try to work together and they keep the town at heart. And I think we got a good team up here and a good team out, the directors, whichever right on the right seat of the bus, I can tell you that. So at this, do I have a motion that we done seconded?
Yes, sir.
It's over with.
All in favor?
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, we're gonna do the oath of office, and Mr. Culbreth and Mr. Mayor Aiken, y'all need to start this process off and tell us what we're gonna do. And I reckon we can set up here, we can go down, whatever y'all want to do.
I think we're gonna go down the front row.
All right, go down the front row then. To the front row. I paid for this too now. I paid for it. 2010, you can record that back.
We're gonna have the alderman go first, and then I've got a statement and a presentation.
There you are.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we're gonna do you first. You're gonna stand right there. Need your right hand up, left hand on the Bible. Okay. No. I, Christopher Schaefer Jr.,
I, Christopher Schaefer Jr.,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States of America
of the United States of America
and the state of Tennessee,
and of the state of Tennessee,
and will obey the laws
and will obey the laws
of the United States
of the United States
and the state of Tennessee,
and the state of Tennessee,
that I will,
that I will,
in all respects,
in all respects,
observe the provisions
observe the provisions
of the charter and ordinances
of the charter and ordinances
of the town of Atoka,
of the town of Atoka,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of Alderman.
of Alderman.
Congratulations. Hey, Chris, I need your signs and stuff. Mr. Harper. I, John Harper,
I, John Harper,
solemnly swear
that
I will support the Constitution
I will support the Constitution
of the United States of America
of the United States of America
and the state of Tennessee,
and the state of Tennessee,
and I will obey the laws
and I will obey the laws
of the United States
of the United States
and the state of Tennessee,
and the state of Tennessee,
that I will, in all respects,
that I will, in all respects,
observe the provisions
observe the provisions
of the charter and ordinances
of the charter and ordinances
of the town of Atoka,
of the town of Atoka,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of Alderman.
the duties of the office of Alderman.
Congratulations. Mr. Daniel Stephen Feldmeyer. I solemnly swear
I solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States of America
of the United States of America
and the state of Tennessee,
and the state of Tennessee,
and will obey the laws
and will obey the laws
of the United States
of the United States
and the state of Tennessee,
and the state of Tennessee,
that I will,
that I will,
in all respects,
in all respect,
observe the provisions of the Charter
reserve the provisions of the Charter
and ordinances
and ordinances
of the town of Atoka,
of the town of Atoka,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of Alderman.
the duties of office of Alderman.
Congratulations, cousin. Mayor-elect. Ready? Raise your right hand. I, Barry Aiken,
I, Barry Aiken,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States of America
of the United States of America
and the state of Tennessee,
and the state of Tennessee,
and I will obey the laws
and I will obey the laws
of the United States
of the United States
and the state of Tennessee,
and the state of Tennessee,
that I will, in all respects,
that I will, in all respects,
observe the provisions
observe the provisions
of the Charter and ordinances
of the Charter and ordinances
of the town of Atoka,
of the town of Atoka,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of mayor.
the duties of the office of mayor.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Barry, can't go, you gotta come right here. All right, I'm gonna hand over the hammer and the mantle to Barry. We're passing the torch, so to speak, it is so. And let me say this board and, that'll work with, we got a lot of things accomplished. You can just go around town and see. I went out, I always say the negative sometimes because, it takes people to make things happen, and this board make things happen in the town of Atoka. And they're gonna keep the plow and keep on the focus of the sewage that we have to talk about. We got, $10 million from the state, and all we talked about for the last 4 months was sewage. So they're gonna keep the focus. We have gotten the money for that and got it all straightened out. And now all we gotta do is work on a good contract that's not a 1989 contract. It'd be a new contract for everybody, and it will really help the town of Atoka to grow. So I just want you to understand that. Very good friend. I'm not gonna take any calls. You're on your own. In any way I can. Thank you very much.
push the button.
Batteries are probably good.
It's blinking. Does that mean the batteries are dead?
Yeah.
All right, y'all can hear me, right? Back row? Good. I've got, I don't like to say a speech, but I heard a good term, the prepared statement. And I want to read this, and then I would like, after we get up there, I want to give each of y'all, if any of y'all would like to say something, give you a moment of doing that. So anyway, thank you all so much for being here. I've got a lot of friends. My mom is here, my family, and thank you to the people of Atoka for entrusting me with the great responsibility and privilege of being your next mayor. I want to give a special acknowledgement to my wife, Linda. Thank you for being with me every step of our lives together. You've stood with me when I got it right, and you stood with me when I got it wrong, but you've always been with me. To the friends and supporters who believe in me, have given me support and encouragement along the way, thank you. To Mayor Walker, thank you for your steady leadership over these past 12 years. Our town is better because of your leadership and vision. I'm looking forward to continuing the good work which you began. Over your 3 terms, you and the board have accomplished a lot of things, like you said, a lot of things. Your leadership through COVID, and even acting as town administrator for a while when it was needed, is truly awesome. If you and Miss Jackie would come up here. Y'all don't know nothing about this, but remember.
You look beautiful.
So, as Mayor Walker said, if you have a chance to go to Pioneer Park, the town, as far as the donations from the senior staff, elected officials, we took donations, and there's a nice bench there. It's got his name. Talks about a dedication of a servant's heart, and it's really nice. But Linda and I wanted to kind of give y'all something else. Figured you have a little more time. I know you got a lot of grandkids coming up, getting older and older. But I saw this, and so it's a birdhouse. It's got Mayor of Atoka 2010 to 2022, and on the back it's got our town font logo. But hopefully y'all have some time to feed the birds, watch the birds, and I know Miss Jackie's a big garden person, so maybe you'll find a place for that.
Thank y'all.
You know, after 40 plus years of Mayor Charles Walker and 12 years of Mayor Darrell Walker, one of the very first questions that I was asked was, if I get this, am I going to change my last name to Walker? No, I am not going to be changing my last name to Walker. But anyway, to the town employees, we got a lot of them here tonight. Thank you for the work that you do day in and day out. Y'all are truly the face of this town. It's the policeman driving, it's the fire, it's the public works that keeps the roads, keeps the sewers. It's the ladies answering the phone calls when y'all aren't happy because the garbage wasn't picked up. It's the ladies that handle the paperwork, getting our tax records together, things like that. All of you day in and day out know that I truly appreciate everything that y'all do for the town. I'll have an open door policy. You are always welcome to come in, tell me what's working, tell me what's not working. I'll always back you 100%. You do the best job for the town, you ain't gonna have a bigger cheerleader than me. You mess up, I'll hold you accountable. To the board, I've worked with most of y'all for 12 years. I look forward to work in these next 4 years. Mayor Walker's already said, we got good people, we got a good board. We've had we brought this town a lot in 12 years. It's an exciting time to live. It's gonna be some challenges, but I know we can handle it, and I look forward to that. I said at the candidates forum that whoever was elected should be bold and have a vision. I say that again. The status quo can't cut it. We've got to have a bold. Y'all are standing in a building tonight that was a boldness to make to commit to building this building for the citizens, giving us a safe room, things like the roundabout. And I could go on and on and on, but that's examples of boldness and a vision. So we gotta implement. We gotta work with doing the roundabout. You know, there's people that remember when Atoka had 750 people. A lot of those people, they want us to continue to treat the town like it was 750 people. We can't do it. We're 10,008, the last census, largest in Tipping County. So we gotta lead that way with that. So finally, to you, the citizens of Atoka. As a mayor of Atoka, I know it's my duty to always represent the town in the most professional way possible. I do not represent Mumford. I do not represent Brighton. I do not represent Tiffany County. It's my responsibility to always strive, and I'm going to always work, and I commit to you now and tell you I'm always going to strive for the best for the town of Atoka. When we get in negotiations like Mayor Walker's talking, man, we've been talking about wastewater for you don't know how long. That's still ongoing. I understand. My job is to get the best outcome for the town of Atoka. I pledge to you I will do that. Next thing, you may not like or agree with my position on things, but you will know where I stand. Number 3, I understand that just because I was unopposed in the election does not mean that there aren't those that oppose me as mayor. If you did not vote for me, I'm going to use the next 4 years to gain your confidence and hopefully your respect. I've talked to many of you, and everyone has a different idea to what the mayor should be to them. I know Darryl could attest to that. I even had a guy on election day. He said, "What are you going to do for me?" And you can go from there. All above. I can't be everything to everyone, and I will not try to be everything to everyone. But I promise, and I will have a sign in my office to remind me that I will always do what I think is best for Atoka. And I know this board will do what they believe is the best for the town of Atoka. Well, what is the best for Atoka? What's that vision going to look like? It ain't going to be accomplished in 100 days. It's not going to be accomplished in 1,000 days. Probably won't be finished totally in my 4 years. But we can start working on it. And starting something is usually the hardest part. Thank you again. I look forward to working with the board and working for you, the citizens of Atoka. Thank you.
Mayor, look at you still turning around.
Oh, I bet. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Danny always kept me in line, believe it or not. Always.
call this meeting to order. It is Tuesday, December 13th, 7:55 p.m. Ms. Deb, can you give us a roll call?
Sure. All right, we have Mayor Aiken,
Here.
Alderman Schaefer,
Here.
Alderwoman Renfro. Here. Alderman Jeanine.
Here, ma'am.
Alderman Feldmayer.
Here.
Alderman Harper.
Here.
And Alderman Hess.
Here.
Thank you.
All right, first order of business, we have some resolutions. Turn that on so y'all can hear me. We have some resolutions, kind of some in-house stuff we have to take care of. Ms. Deb, do I have any objection to reading the resolution by title only? Hearing none, go ahead, Ms. Deb.
All right. A resolution authorizing check signers for the accounts held by the town of Atoka, Tennessee, First Citizens National Bank, Simmons Bank, Insouth Bank, and Patriot Bank.
Well, I guess we do have to read part of it. The resolution states that it says the Board of Mayor and Alderman of the town of Atoka hereby designate the following as authorized signatories on accounts held by the town of Atoka. Elected official will be myself. The second person authorized to sign will be Danny Feldmeyer, Alderman. The town staff would be Deborah Pickard, our town recorder, and Juanita Ayers, our clerk.
I'm making the roof. I second it.
All right, having a motion and having a second. This is a resolution. We don't have to do a roll call. So all in favor of the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That carries. All right, Exhibit G. Ms. Deb, you want to go ahead and read this resolution?
Resolution approving and accepting an agreement by and between the town of Atoka, Tennessee and Vector Solutions Public Sector Software.
Mr. Town Administrator, you want to give us some background on this?
I sure can. With your permission, I'd ask Fire Chief
Oh, yeah.
McMillan to provide a little background on the software system.
Thank you. Target Solutions is a software, it's basically a training software. I've tasked the lieutenants and our firefighters with garnering every point that we can get when it comes to ISO. This is just part of that. This helps us consolidate and capture more of our training points that we're trying to get. So that's the reason for it. And it's,
In your budget, you're not gonna ask for.
yes, it can be absorbed into the current budget. I don't need extra money to do this. It's basically offset by, there'll be a lot of things that we can do in-house, like our officer classes and catching up on some refresher classes if they miss them. Stuff that we would have to pay to send them off to do, we can do that in-house, so it's basically just a cost offset.
A motion approved.
Is there any other department that uses this particular software? Are you gonna be the first one?
Well, there's a lot of them out there that use it, but I'm not sure of any locally. There was a lot from where I came from that use Vector Solutions and Target Solutions. The software, I can get you, you know,
No, that's fine.
anything you
You're
need
comfortable
on
with
it.
it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with it, yes, sir.
Is it something that may be able to be expanded to say the police department or public works to keep up eventually?
Possibly. I'll have to take a look at it. I'm real familiar with the fire side of it. I'm not sure what they offer on the police side.
I'll second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any other discussion, questions for Chief McMillan? Hearing none. All in favor of this resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution carries. Thank you, Chief. Exhibit H in your packet. Go ahead, Ms. Deb, you want to read it?
A resolution approving and accepting an agreement by and between the town of Atoka, Tennessee, Harris, Shelton, Hanover, Walsh, PLLC for town attorney services.
Pretty much the same?
It is the same, except the terms have changed to 2023.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion, we have a second.
Can I have one correction? The last page, it's got Mayor Walker listed. Can I make that correction?
Good catch. So we got a motion, we got a second, with the change by Alderman Harper to put, my name down there. Be signing it. All in favor of the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution passes. Exhibit I. Mr. Town Administrator, give us some background, please.
Yes, sir. A little bit of background on this particular project. So in January 2021, Tipton County Schools contributed $10,000 for the purpose of creating a sidewalk from Walker Parkway East south to connect to Atoka Elementary School. We initially put out a call for bids at that time. Bids came back higher than we expected. Of course, we have to remember what was occurring at that particular time in early '21. So we made the decision to hold on and see if we could get a better deal a little bit later down and save some taxpayer dollars. So that's what we did. We held off. We communicated with Superintendent Combs as well, let him know where we were on that. So on November the 2nd, 2022, town placed a second call for bids, and we received 3 submissions by the due date of November 18th, 2022. The lowest responsible bid appears to be from McNeely Construction and Concrete in the amount of $22,750. The $10,000 provided by the Tipton County Schools is going to contribute to the project, with the additional amount coming from a combination of the town's American Rescue Plan, or the spending plan that the board approved, and general funds. So staff would recommend awarding the bid to McNeely Concrete and Construction in the amount of $22,750.
I make a motion to award the bid to McNeely Concrete Construction.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion, questions for Town Administrator? So this is gonna be from the elementary school to what street?
Walker Parkway East, so it will be from Atoka Elementary continuing north to Walker Parkway East.
And I know I say every morning, I think about every time I pass by there in the morning, there's people walking on the wet ground or walking. So I think it'll be a great thing. I'm never opposed to sidewalks, so. Anyway, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in, is this a resolution? All in favor of the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution carries. Exhibit J, appointments by the mayor. I'll just read this since it's written pretty well. I couldn't do it better. Appointments for the 2022-2023 Board of Aldermen. Vice Mayor, Section 7C of the Atoka Municipal Charter establishes the position of Vice Mayor and establishes a method for filling the position. And what that says is the mayor at the first regular meeting after the newly elected aldermen have taken office, following each biennial election, shall appoint one of the aldermen to serve as vice mayor for a term of 2 years. And I am making that vice mayor position Danny Feldmeyer to be my vice mayor when I'm not around. You accept?
I do.
Thank you, sir. Standing committees, Title II, Chapter 1, Section 2-101 of the Atoka Municipal Code of Ordinances establishes the authority to create committees as necessary for the general welfare of the town. On October 2nd, 2012, the Board of Mayor and Aldermen approved Resolution 12-10-04, establishing 3 standing board committees and authorizing, empowering, and directing the mayor to appoint a chair and vice chair for each of the committees. With the authority granted the mayor by the municipal code, I hereby make the following appointments for the term of 2 years. The Finance and Administration Committee will be chaired by Alderman Christy Renfro, and Vice Chair, our new Alderman Chris Schaefer. Public Safety, which concerns the fire and police departments, be chaired by Alderman Brett Giannini, the Vice Chair, Alderman John Harper. And our Public Works Committee, which is involved with planning and inspection, streets and water, be chaired by Danny Spellmeyer, Vice Chair Cody Pace. These are just appointments. It's kind of information, point of information. So, if everyone served on that committee, I would appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Appointments to the Atoka Planning Commission. Title 14, Chapter 1, Section 101 of the Atoka Code of Ordinances established the Municipal Planning Commission and prescribes a method for filling the membership positions of the commission. And it states, the Planning Commission shall consist of 7 members. 2 of these shall be the mayor or an alderman of his designation, another member of the board of mayor and aldermen selected by the board of mayor and alderman. The other 5 members shall be appointed by the mayor. As provided in the Code of Ordinances, as mayor, I am electing to sit on the Planning Commission. The term will run concurrent with my elected office, so I am going to fill the mayor's position. And we would need a nomination from the board for their representative for the Planning Commission.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to nominate Alderman Harper.
Alderman Harper, do you accept?
I accept.
All right. So we'll have that, the Board of Mayor and Alderman's members shall be Alderman John Harper.
Does there need to be a vote on that?
Yes, if y'all.
Should be, yes, sir.
So, board,
Or any other nominations?
any other
Any other
nominations?
nominations?
Anybody? All right. Those that are in favor of Alderman John Harper being the representative of the Board of Mayor and Alderman on the Planning Commission, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, John.
Thank you, Mayor.
The Atoka Code of Ordinances establishes that commissioners appointed by the mayor shall be for a term of 5 years. And we have the following. This is not a comprehensive list, but these are the ones at this time that I have been advised that we need to appoint tonight. Mr. Keith Moore will be, and all of these are term expiring December 2027. Ms. Vicki Shipley, Mr. Mike Smith. Those 3 have been on the Planning Commission, and I'm asking them to stay on for a time that they can hopefully serve their full term. And we've had a vacancy on the Planning Commission, and it's our actual regional position. A lot of you might not be aware, even though you're outside of the town limits of Atoka, there's an area that falls under the Regional Planning Commission as far as zoning and the ordinances there. And I've reached out to Mr. Paul Martin. He was here tonight. He has accepted that position to fill that regional planning position. So, all in favor of these appointments that I have mentioned, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any discussion? All right. Exhibit L, records destruction request. Mr. Town Administrator or Chief or whoever. Ms. Debbie?
This is just a matter of information, as we go through the records retention, as it says on here. We purge the paper documents, go through a shredding process, different things departments have different time limits. Payroll, for example, is 5 years, all invoices and checks and stuff like that is 7 years, so we have to clean out the vault sometimes, because we gotta make room for new. So it's just a matter of information as part of the process.
Need us to vote on this or approve this or anything, Ms.
No,
Deb?
sir.
Okay. Any discussion, any questions?
I guess my only question, I know it's only 2 weeks, but the October to December 2015, you're gonna, I guess, wait until New Year?
Yes. We just got everything in order, so it's ready to go.
All right, it's time for departmental reports. First up is code enforcement, Mr. Mike Doherty. Mark Doherty. I used to work with Mike.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening. As you can see, the report is prepared before you. If you have any questions, I can answer those.
I don't have anything.
Only thing I have to add is I'd like to see his name over here, so we know who we're supposed to be talking.
We got everybody
Well,
else's
everybody
name.
else knows.
We don't want to diss code enforcement, so
By not having a name, I'd like to have his name.
on our report.
On the agenda?
Deb.
Oh, on the agenda, okay.
Yes, please.
If that's okay with you, make a order.
Yes, sir, that's fine.
That's what you asked for.
Mark, how you doing in the certifications and stuff? Coming right along?
Yes, sir. I was going to tell you, I'm a month ahead, about a month and a half ahead of schedule on my personal goal. I attained my residential plumbing certification just a couple of weeks ago. So it's about a month and a half ahead of what I wanted to do. So I'm working on my mechanical test now. And one light note I would like to add, if anybody doesn't have anything else, this week I was contacted about, in the season of mistletoe and Christmas trees. Someone asked me about, would we adopt an ordinance allowing unicorns in the town of Atoka? I know some of you may have saw in the news where the young lady in California had asked that. So I had somebody reach out to me and ask me the same thing. So, I told him I would have to take the matter under advisement.
Did you redirect him to the police department?
I did not do that to him.
It's a no for me.
Barring any other questions, that's all I have.
Any other questions for code enforcement? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Fire Department, Mr. Chief McMillan.
Yeah, it's been a busy mistletoe season for us as well. With the Santa ride and merry meet and greets and all that kind of stuff. I had a lot of people ask me if we did that back home, and the answer was no, we did not. But it was a really good time, and I just want to give a shout out to the town. Really got together on our Christmas float and got first place last night in the Covington Parade.
All
So,
right.
well deserved. The rest of the reports, I know Mark had asked that we give you an update kind of where we're at on our ARPA. There was about 4 items we were buying with the ARPA funds. One was a trailer for our side-by-side. We've actually already purchased it. It's sitting at Station 1. The side-by-side itself, we ended up only being able to get a quote out of one dealer, so it was, even though it's not strictly a sole source thing, we could only get one quote, so we're going with that one. The skid unit, which is the pump and hose and stuff that's going to go on the side-by-side, was also a single source item. All of these things have been procured. We know where we're getting them from, and all the paperwork's being submitted to Mark so that we cross all our T's and dot all our I's. The only thing we haven't really got buttoned down is our brush truck. We've got 2 quotes from 2 dealers on the state bid list right now. I'm waiting currently on a third one to come in just so we can get as much information as possible. But everything is backed up. So once we get it ordered, it'll probably be a minute before we get side-by-side or the truck. So that's kind of where we're at on the ARPA funds as far as the fire department goes. The only other thing y'all have in front of you is our monthly report on runs. If you have any questions about those, I'm here for you.
nobody has any questions, I do have a comment for Chief just about the fact, I was at the Covington Parade last night, and we had a great looking float.
Yes.
I was very disappointed that Chief Rudolph's float did not have any mistletoe decorated. It's kind of plain next to Chief Rudolph's. But Atoka did have a really good showing at the parade, and it was something to note for sure.
Yeah, when we missed out on, we didn't win over at Munford, I was a little bit disappointed because I was really proud of that float. And our firefighter of the year, Dustin Pendale, really put in a lot of hard work in helping get that accomplished. So I was real proud when we won last night. It's the way it should be.
Thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir.
Parks Department, Ms. Cookie Isbell.
All right, congratulations to all of y'all that are new on the board. I look forward to working with each and every one of you. So we've had a very busy, not so much November, but the last 2 weeks have been extremely busy. The Veterans Day ceremony went really well. We had good weather and good attendance. The tree lighting, the weather was not very favorable. We did end up having to shift it a week because of that, and then it still rained. But despite that, we still had about 150 people still show up, and they all had a good time. We got the lights on, had hot chocolate and coffee, and then the Boy Scouts also had some stuff to look at inside. Like they were saying, we did do parades this year again. We did the Mumford one. We had a good time with that. Brighton was supposed to have theirs this past Monday and then moved it to Friday, so Santa's Ride trumped it. So we did not do that one. And then we did Covington last night, and that was a lot of fun. And like you said, we got first place, so we were all tickled about that. I don't know if any of y'all saw it, but it was the National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Fire did the house, if you saw it, and then Public Works constructed the base of the float, stuff that we can actually reuse going forward to make it a little easier. And then we had a sewer on there with a green light and a fog machine, and Mark Daughtry actually stood there and said it was full lots of times. And then Jared Baker, which is, I think he got Reserve of the Year for the fire department, he was our clerk each time, and he did an awesome job really turning the lights off and making it like a real exciting thing. And they would yell and ask, Clark, are the lights going to come on? And he had a whole little skit. It was awesome. Santa's Ride, we had a great time both nights. I kind of thought Saturday was going to get rained, a lot of rain, but we got lucky. The nights that we were in our cars, whoever I was riding with, we had fun picking out certain things. One night we were looking for how many Grinches we could find, and the second night we were trying to find as many mistletoes as we could throughout the route. The next thing we have is our home decorating contest. If any of y'all know of any houses that you really like and want to get put into the contest, I think after talking with Barry and a couple other people, I think it's a really good idea, but we talked about whoever wins first place of the decorating contest, we will work out letting them ride in the fire truck next year. Kind of spice up the deal a little bit, so we'll start putting that out this week. We also are going to drive around because some people, either one, don't know we're doing it, or two, don't want to go through the trouble to actually sign up maybe. But there's several good ones, so we're going to actually go around and find them and make a good route so people in Atoka or anybody in Tipton County can come to our area and actually ride through and look at all the things. Right now we're prepping for spring activities. It's already Barbecue Fest planning time. I feel like I just got done with that. And then we'll have a food truck fest in the spring and all that good stuff. ARPA funds, the soccer lighting. I have gotten a quote from Musco Lighting about a year ago, and I have emailed him an updated quote. The good thing about Musco is they are through a Sourcewell purchasing cooperative, and we actually have an ID through them, so hopefully we can kind of spearhead and jump ahead on that. Our lighting at the soccer field or softball fields are already Musco, so I would prefer to try to keep with them if possible because it just makes things easier and simpler. And they've been awesome since I've at least been here before my time. Playground resurfacing, we've gotten a local quote to know what to ask for in the bid packet because it'll definitely be in the $40,000 to $50,000 range. So now I'll be going through all the phone. honestly, the last month has been insane. So now we're in my month of getting to do things and not have to run sports and activities and all that good stuff. So I'll have all that hopefully to put out to bid maybe January, February. Softball fencing, the same kind of thing. We've gotten a quote from West Memphis Fence Company. Kind of told them like our big ballpark idea with all the bells and whistles. Obviously, it's going to be more expensive than what we budget, but just to get an idea of what that looks like so we can see what exactly we do need, and again, form that into a board packet. We've also inquired with Fierce, and they just haven't sent it back to us yet. I have not done much with the paving. Have to get with Harvey on that, and the pipelining at Pioneer. He may possibly have some information on it, but that we're going to get working on that here soon. I think that's all I have. It was a lot of information. I talked really fast, I'm sure. So, did y'all have any questions? All right, thank you.
Good evening. Miss Amber, I will say that my truck was decorated quite a bit with lights. But couldn't get my hands on too many mistletoes because I think they were with the white lights and all that inside the firehouses, but I'm not sure. But next year, I'm going to be challenged. Your stats are before you today. Just as a quick reminder for anybody that needs a reminder on these stats is that we compare the date up in the red date up in the left-hand corner from this time to last year's date. So you can see the ones in green are crimes that are down, the ones in red are the ones that have gone up. So the good thing to say about that is that we're about 14% down in crime overall in our Part 1 crimes. So that's something that I'm watching closely because I'd like that obviously to fall further. But there was days when we were coming in, I was reporting to you, we were right about 2%. So they were stealing everything but the mistletoe out there. So, but we're sitting in a good position, and a good thing to remind you is if it is up in red, a lot of times there's an associated arrest with that as well. So that's a good thing. We did have a notable arrest on aggravated assault on Highway 51 in the 13,000 block. Officers made the scene of a family member. Boyfriend came over to drop off the child and became heated over a trailer. Suspect's anger escalated to the point of kicking the door off the resident's frame and struck the victim and began to strangle her. Suspect left, and we have gotten warrants with them, and so we're active warrants, and we're looking to lock them up. We got a little heated trail on that, so we're not far behind. And I scheduled to have our newest officer, Courtney Rogers, here with us tonight, but she's midnight shift right now. She's learning. She's scheduled to go into the academy, the Memphis Police Academy, on January 16th, so she's picking up as much as she can before she goes in there. And we have just interviewed for 2 other positions that we needed to fill, and we have very strong candidates there as well, but they also will need to go to the academy. So we've already reserved spots at the academy for them, and I think we're going to have a good addition to our team. And so as they come on, once they're done with onboarding, we'll try to bring them into the board to kind of give you a name with a face. But we have put Courtney Rogers obviously to work a little bit. She was out there blocking some of the roads during the Santa ride and stuff, so some of you may have seen her already. And again, just a commitment to our training for the Atoka PD. You can just see a list of the things that we've been involved in for the month of November. Lastly, our ARPA funds. We were in for a trailer, message board radar trailer that we received a lot of portion from a grant, and then the other was supplemented with ARPA funds to the town. We have ordered that. They're about 2 months out, so we're expecting. I talked to them the other day. They're telling us a February date, but they said we'll have it way before then. So, mobile data terminals for the car. We have a Tennessee state contract on those, so we're just waiting to get all the finite details with installation and all that other stuff worked out before we push the trigger on that one. And then lastly, we have the 3 flock cameras that we asked for, and we had to go out for quotes on that. We quoted 3 different companies, and the flock cameras were by far the lowest, and so we've already pushed the trigger on that one, so we should be seeing something real soon. We've got to give them GPS coordinates of places that we want them, so that's where we stand on that. Any questions of me?
Chief, I just want to acknowledge that I do see 1,045 additional calls for service. Just file that away.
Yes, sir.
That's big, that's a big increase.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chief.
Yes, sir.
Director Ellis, Public Works.
Yes, sir. Good evening, Board. First, I thought it was good to be last on the agenda, but some of these guys, it's hard to follow for someone who's not a very good public speaker. So once again, I'll try to muddle through and touch on a few topics. I think most of you guys are aware our current paving project that we had scheduled. I got a call the end of last week from the vendor, the local vendor, notifying us that they would not be able to do that project. Not really a specific reason given. We had recently, I think the week before, had a pre-construction conference. There was no sign that this was going to happen, but it did, so just wanted to update you guys on that. And that was the Oak Creek subdivision overlay. We'll tie that into the ARP. That was one of the projects I'm responsible for is the upcoming paving. You guys allotted quite a bit of money for the upcoming paving, so we'll have to work that into the spring project. Town staff has done an assessment of all the town streets, compiled a list, recommended repairs. That list's been sent to the town administrator and also to the town engineer for review. And we'll be working with the engineer to get that bid packet out, hopefully in the January board meeting, hopefully. I don't want to commit him to something that we may not be able to do, but that's my time frame. So we'll get this out at the first of the year, and we won't be, hopefully we'll be first in line when paving.
When do they usually open the asphalt?
Usually March, would you say then? March? Most of them shut down, as you know, probably for the winter, so, and that was the reason I was given. The plants are shutting down and they can't get the product. The second thing is the roundabout, as far as ARP, I believe, I don't think it's been sent out yet, but we're gonna reach out with an initial letter to TDOT just to communicate saying, hey, this is what we have in mind, and just make them aware of it, put it on their radar. So that will be going out very soon.
Just for clarification of what Director Ellis is talking about, the board is already, well, all of these ARPA projects have been approved by the board. We are planning, if you haven't heard, we've approved a new roundabout at Main Street in Mumford, Atoka, and that's what Director Ellis is referencing there. I had a gentleman this week ask me, is it gonna take 8 years for us to do this one? And I tried to take Alderman Fairmeyer's, he says, don't promise too much, but I said, I can promise you it's not gonna take 8 years. So, good to know.
Thank you. Thank you for explaining that. Second item to discuss are some culverts, quite a few culverts around town, drainage culverts that are failing at various degrees of failure. Particularly the one at Grace and J.E. Blades is the one that's on my radar now. I've been working, trying to get that replaced on my own, and recently reached out to our town engineer, and we're working to get that done as quickly as possible. We're going to get a bid package together, hopefully within the next few weeks, and get that out for bids. We're monitoring it a couple of times a week. There is a depression in the road there, but unless we see some major movement, I think we're going to be okay. We will process that forward as quickly as possible. Lastly, this is scheduled maintenance on our elevated water tower on Rosemark Road. Its initial washout is scheduled for Tuesday, December the 21st. This is part of our ongoing routine maintenance of that tank. That is about it, unless you guys have some questions.
I was gonna say, once town staff and the engineers kind of look over your list of paving, can we also get a look at that list?
Of course.
Of the proposed streets?
Of course.
Is it gonna, when we wash out the tank, is it gonna, we're gonna get some phone calls about trying to make cornbread for Christmas and water's brown, what's going on?
Hopefully not. Typically, what I've heard is we scheduled it around the school being out for fall break, so that's typically where most of the complaints come from. So hopefully the public will not see any disruption of service, or will not even be aware of it.
Okay.
Okay? That's it?
Any questions, Director Ellis?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Miscellaneous items from the mayor, board of aldermen, and town administrator. I would like to take this time, like I said a little while ago, if any of Chris being new, anybody that wants to just have anything to say about serving on the board or whatever, please take this time. if you've got anything to say. If you don't, that's fine.
I didn't come with a prepared statement.
But there's never any shortage of anything for you to say, though.
Oh, there's never any shortage, everyone does that.
Yes.
But you got your suit jacket on,
Yeah, I do.
He does.
your fancy jacket.
Y'all better take a picture tonight.
I will say it is humbling, knowing that somebody went into the ballot box and pushed your name. And so I don't take that lightly. My scouts have already left. One of the things I was able to communicate to them was this was a very close election, okay? I would like to say that to Chris and even the candidates that didn't make it, it was a good, clean election. Everybody, I think, got out and worked really, really hard. And I was able to communicate to my scouts that, that yes, your voice counts. I was fortunate enough that I have 2 kids that have recently registered to vote to help, help get me across that finish line. And again, I just want to say it's humbling and thank you, and I promise to do all that I can. So, look forward to help.
I'm sorry Mayor Walker's gone, but I just want to tell him he was a great mayor, leadership, and I appreciate his service. And to Mayor Aiken, I look forward to working with you. I've worked with you a long time as an alderman.
Yes, sir.
I know your heart's always about Atoka, so I'm looking forward to your leadership.
Thank you.
I just want to say, I look forward to working with all you guys. I look forward to serving all of you. So, thank you.
I've got a couple of things. Our next 2 meetings, our January meeting and our February meeting. January, I am going to be out of town, and while I have every confidence that Alderman Feldmeyer could stand in my place, I would really like to be, I guess, my first official full meeting. I'd like to be here, and I would ask the board if, and then February, we are scheduled for Valentine's Day. And I just got a feeling that our wives would really appreciate it if we not have a meeting on Valentine's Day. So I would ask the board to look at your calendars and see if we can agree on new dates for January and February. The staff has told us before, it's always better as far as reports and getting things together. It's better to be later than earlier. A lot of shaking of heads there. So I'm open to what y'all would suggest. Let's talk about January 1st. January meeting first.
When will you be in town?
I'll be just I'll be back as of Tuesday night, Wednesday. So it could be that Thursday, but next week will probably be better for me.
So maybe Tuesday the 17th.
Tuesday the 17th. Okay?
Change the meeting to Tuesday, the 17th.
Yes, for January.
In the past, we have had a meeting on Valentine's Day, which I was not in attendance because I do better.
There you go.
It's a very smart change.
So, January's meeting will be Tuesday, January 17th. February, y'all want to push it to the next Tuesday? The 21st? Do what?
21st.
Yeah, 21st. Good?
Yes.
Just yet?
FYI, I'm not asking y'all to change it, but I will not be able to make that meeting. I'll be on the appointment, but y'all will have the meeting.
Okay. So you're saying January and February?
No, I'll be here February.
Okay, okay.
As long as it's the 2nd or later.
Right. Okay, so then the February meeting will be February 21st.
Okay.
All right? I think that's all I have. I'm looking at the administrator, see if he had notes that I had anything else that I talked to him about.
No, sir, the big one was getting those meetings
Okay,
considered.
all right. Turn it over to you, Mr. Town Administrator.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor, and congratulations to Alderman Harvard, fellow mayor, and incoming Alderman Schaefer. Congratulations, y'all should be commended, and I know that y'all take the responsibility very seriously, and I know you're gonna serve the citizens well on this board. What I wanted to touch on briefly was the trash collection vendor changeover, kind of the process and what we've been working on and staff has been working on since the last meeting. So we've drafted communications, and since the fees have now been formally adopted, we will meet tomorrow morning at 8:15 and kind of finalize all of the communications that we're gonna push out to the citizens. And we're gonna plan to use all of our social media platforms, the town website, and we're also gonna do a dial my calls, so those maybe in the past who have received automated call for utility payments, if something was past due, we're gonna use that same database to, again, put out a call that, hey, here's the vendor change, here's the schedule, and here's what we're looking for to be able to just get as far of a reach as we can. Our deputy recorder, Miss Rachel, and her staff, along with Miss Debbie, have been working on addressing some frequently asked questions. So they've got a document kind of prepared of things that they anticipate getting questions on. So they will have those answers that we hope that would largely address any of the changeover questions. We've kept in frequent contact with Gary at Republic Services, so y'all met him at the last meeting. They will be delivering containers to the Public Works facility for assembly starting December the 19th, so this coming Monday. And then they will also have a team of workers that will be at Public Works assembling those containers, so they have to put the lids and the wheels, and just for shipping purposes, they need to be assembled. And they will start to deliver cans to our customers that Monday. So that very same day, once they get a little bit of a stock there assembled, they will start delivering those to the customers from Monday through next Thursday. So there would be a brief period of time we think that customers are gonna have maybe possibly 3 cans in their driveway until Waste Pro starts collection next week. So they will deliver those cans Monday the 19th through Thursday the 22nd. And Republic will begin official trash collection on December the 3rd, 2023, so just after the holiday.
January.
What did I say?
December.
I'm sorry, it says 1/3. Yeah, it says 1/3, I apologize. January 3rd, they will start their collections. And then Waste Pro, our current vendor, they're gonna conduct their last collection the week of the 26th. And what they will have is the truck will be collecting, and then they will have a separate company that's coming behind the collection, picking up and collecting those containers. And then after they're dumped, so that's when they'll pick those up. So I'd be happy to answer any questions specifically about the trash or anything.
Last time we had Republic, we had an amazing pickup day. It was Monday for the entire town. Have they said what the pickup day is gonna be?
They're gonna be picking up on 4 days. I think maybe you were not here at the last meeting, but they're gonna be picking up Monday through Thursday, and they are gonna be doing some direct mailers to the customers, so that's part of our communication piece, is we've been working with them to make sure that our information kind of coincides with each other. So customers will be getting directly notified via mail what their collection date is, which I'm sure that town staff is gonna get questions, because people are probably gonna think it's junk mail and chuck it. So our staff members have the collection routes, and they have the collection days for those areas, so we should be able to address any questions should they come along.
Mark, you might have mentioned this, but I had asked if we could put a little blip, any kind of thing we want to announce on maybe the utility bills, and y'all had said yes.
Yes, we can do that. It's very limited character
I know.
space though. That's the downside of it, so.
But if y'all think that y'all can fit something pertinent, do that too. We gotta exercise all of our available, because we're still, even doing everything we can, there's gonna be confusion, so.
Yes, sir. We're expecting, once we push information out tomorrow, the ladies are kind of preparing themselves for phone calls, so guaranteed, we're gonna get lots of calls, and that's okay.
That kind of brings me up to my question. You said that you were gonna do the calls. Will that include us people on Poplar Grove billing?
I don't know. You think so? Okay. Yes, I'm being told yes.
Can we not just use our brand new sirens and talk across the?
There you
whole
go.
table?
Like it? I would share.
Gotta test them anyway.
I mean, yeah, right. We bought them to talk to them, so might as well do it.
Any other questions on the trash? Okay. So our long-range comp plan, Staff had a meeting with Orion Planning and Design. We're hoping to have a final draft for staff review by the end of the month, hopefully Christmas. So that's very positive, and a code draft as well. So be a staff review, and then we'll get information. And if we catch all of the things that we think we're gonna catch, the low-hanging fruit, get that back to them, they'll redraft and fix those things, and then that'll all come back to the board for consideration of adoption. Update on Walker Parkway stream mitigation. So TDOT legal, and I gave you this update back in November, but I know not everybody was here, and we've got a new member. So TDOT legal's working on the land use restriction document, and they'll be getting the signatures from the Army Corps and from TDEC. Once that's complete, the deed will be registered with the county. I wanted to let us know that, we've been checking in, every 4 weeks with them just to kind of keep the fire burning. And then once they have all that done, getting that to Mr. Blackwood with West Tennessee River Basin to get construction going, it'll be back in his hands. And then my contact has been keeping in touch with legal. On the multimodal grant project, the design consultant has submitted their mandate estimate and fee proposal, so that's under review. There's some design specifics which they're working on with TDOT to define and clarify, which shouldn't take too much longer. And he suggested that I check back with them after the first of the year. So that's what I have on those two projects. You probably caught this in the weekly updates and information, emergency management. So staff is going to be attending an MTAS Impact Series this Thursday about emergency management. Emergency preparedness and those type of things is really important. I know we've got at a county level, but I think staff feels strongly that we need to be more informed about emergency management. So we'll be doing a virtual workshop attendance with that. Wednesday to tomorrow, TDEC is doing a proper procurement for ARPA funds. So we're going to be attending that workshop that TDEC's putting on. And I did touch base, assuming that Alderwoman Renfro and Alderman Schaefer were going to be appointed to Finance and Administration Committee, that we're going to be meeting on December the 21st at 3 p.m. And the purpose for that is to discuss the banking options that we've been working on, and the finance staff getting some investment options for some of our reserve funds so we can make the best use of those funds and get some return. I'm sure that you all are aware that interest rates are rising. When it comes to money markets and CDs, that's a big benefit for those vehicles. And of course, you're also aware that with public funds, very limited options on what we can invest in. So no speculation or anything like that. You have to be guaranteed. Those institutions have to be a part of the collateralization pool for the state requirement. And then also a few of those have been involved also with the local government investment pool. So very positive things. So we'll cover those options with the finance and administration. If those folks are okay with it, then we'll proceed with moving those funds over to those investment accounts. So that covers that. And our newly elected board and refresher training for you all is this Thursday. Just a reminder about that at 6. So we'll have that here. We're going to have a bite to eat for you all, where our MTAS municipal management consultant is going to be coming in and covering our town charter and touching on some legal issues that you all need to be aware of as board members. And finally, our Christmas party is next Tuesday the 20th. So that'll be at Gateway Baptist. We may hang some mistletoe around, so don't be surprised. And who knows, we might even give away a unicorn. I don't know. So we'll see. But yeah, if anybody has any questions, be happy to answer anything you might have.
Questions? Okay. Town Council, Ms. Amber, do you have anything?
I don't.
Folks that signed on to speak, I don't be on the long list, but there's a lot of folks that signed that, so we're just following our protocol.
This is the longest list we've ever had.
Maybe
Citizens' concerns, if a citizen would stand up and come to the podium, identify yourself, I'll check you off the list. I think we might have had some citizens signing the wrong list, but come on up.
Probably me.
No.
Yes, sir, I appreciate you. My name's Preston Dunn.
Yes, sir, you did good, Mr. Dunn.
I did good?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do I speak now or do I wait? Okay. Again, my name's Preston Dunn. I live out in Drummond's. I've only been here about a year. I'm a newbie to Tipton County, but my wife, born and raised in Memphis, and she knew all the areas. We retired actually here. What I do is I'm involved with an organization that started out in Bakersfield, California, called In God We Trust America. And all that we do is we go around to city councils, town councils, and ask them to pass a resolution to proudly and prominently display our national motto in their town halls or their city council rooms, that kind of thing. And the website is ingodwetrustamerica.org. And if you go to it, you'll see how there's a map there, a clickable map, and you can click on the different states and it'll show you all of the cities and counties that have participated. And they're called, a council person actually in Bakersfield, Jackie Sullivan, started this years ago. And I heard her on Wall Builders. I don't know if you've heard that on the radio. I heard her on that program, so I called her up in California and got involved. And I was in Arkansas at the time. And so we got about 80 cities in Arkansas. I'd love to see Tennessee eclipse California. They have 144 cities, but with the help, with volunteers and with folks like you, that I think, all of the legal things are in history now. That's all been settled, and I have some sample resolutions there you can use, or you can, create your own. And it's the whereas, in 1956 it was adopted, reaffirmed in 2011. So it's in concrete, and it's just a good patriotic, we believe, a way to express your patriotic side and humility side, to recognize that as our national motto. So that's all I'm asking, and we become a yes vote city within GodWeTrustAmerica.org. No obligations, it's just a good thing. And we take pictures, we display. Mountain Home Arkansas had their wood carving association carve a hand carved scroll that they put as a solid wood. And then, people like Branson, Missouri, that was another city I was,
Mr. President.
blessed to talk to.
Thank you. If you could, don't leave.
Yes, sir.
And get with our town administrator.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mark Warner.
Sure will.
I can't vote unless it's a tie.
Yes, sir.
But I have a strong feeling this board has no problem
Yes,
with
sir.
something like that. If we can just delve into it, and
Yes, sir.
we'll get that on the future.
I sure thank you for that, and I'll give you the resolution and all. Thank you so much for your time. God bless you all. Appreciate
Thank you,
you.
sir. Do we have somebody else? Mr. Ben Ledzinger signed for citizens concern.
Yep. And his concern is he didn't read the heading.
Yeah.
I would ask that those be more prominent next time.
I think I can get that done in our administration, maybe.
Thank you, sir.
Do we have other citizens' concerns? I've got names here, but, if you signed up, if you got something to say. All right. Hearing done.
I motion to adjourn.
I have a second. All in,
Just want to say, wish everybody a Merry Christmas.
Merry
Happy New Year.
Christmas.
And be
All right.
safe.
All in favor of adjourning?